Bon appétit.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Gumbo. We are back. It's been a couple of months of little hiatus stuff due to personal life and busy and everything, but we are back. And we brought a special guest with us. Today, we have Mr. Paladin Topaz himself. How you doing, bud? You want to kind of give some of the people here a little spit your bars about who you are, what you do, your favorite games, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good to be here. It's been a very, very long time since I've done much on camera, but very happy to jump back in with some friendly faces. So, I about a decade ago or so, honestly, at this point, was pretty heavy in the YouTube space, specifically around like Rare and Sea of Thieves. Um, so made lots of content covering that game as it was kind of approaching release and then a little bit after release, and then mainly just focused on other video games that I was interested in. I was super into Bethesda, still am, all the classics, but yeah, just pumped about games. And I took a bit of a hiatus from gaming for a while there, but especially this year I feel like we've been eating really good with like a lot of good games coming out, especially on the Xbox side. So very good time to get back into it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. As always, you know how Rand has the man with the million. Well, we have Q here, the man with the million game backlog, um, with us here today. Q, how you doing, bud? What's currently on your backlog, or what are you trying to work through now?
Well, first thing first, I will say it's not that deep. Take that in multiple ways. Secondly, um, um, since we last been on here, since we've last been on here, the last thing that I went through is I played through for the first time, and I understand now all the praise that it got. I played through 2017's Prey.
Nice.
Tried to play it a couple times before, and then just kind of, sometimes you jump into a game and you barely get through the prologue, and you're just like, you know what, let me play something else. And it was once I sat down, I was like, I'm gonna actually play this game. It was fantastic. I loved it. No notes. It was amazingly well done. And then I got really frustrated with playing Moon Crash because roguelites, especially ones that when you do a run and a run, like when it's a short roguelite, right? Let me put my words together. When it's a short roguelite and you're maybe doing like a 5, 10, maybe 15-minute run, not that bad. I'm super excited. Let me go again. I can do another run. I can do another run. When I'm on a run and it takes 30 to 40 minutes to get through a run because I'm running with multiple characters and then I die and I gotta start from the beginning, that aggravates the hell out of me. So I actually I got to the point where I angrily delete because I don't throw controllers. I did once and then broke my PlayStation when I was like a teenager, and I decided never to do that again. Um, I angrily deleted the game from my hard drive, and then immediately was like, let me download this back so I can finish it. But
Nice.
yeah, mostly played through that. Just been playing some smaller games. I played through this game called Minami Lane, which is like you. There's like a little road, and you're like building houses and uh, businesses and stuff to like make the neighborhood happy. And that was a little fun, little cozy game that I played through. I jumped back into State of Decay 2 after not playing it for a while. With all of my several hundred hours of playing, I actually have never completed a lethal playthrough. So I am
Oh, okay.
currently playing a lethal playthrough for State of Decay 2,
Sweet.
and because of the news that we got that the servers were going to be shut down in February, I re-downloaded Anthem, and I'm actually looking for someone to play through the campaign with me co-op for one last time. Uh, so that's where I'm at.
Hold on.
We'll go to the loony bin together.
But you know what? In the end, though, I really enjoyed it. So even though I was a bit frustrated, like once I got there, like once I got it, and I figured out, okay, I got to take this person here, I got to do this and go there, I got to do that, go there. Then it was good. But it was like the figuring out how I was supposed to get everybody through is what it was very
Absolutely.
much. It's very much Deathloop, but in on the moon. Because that was my problem with Deathloop too. Is like it wasn't. I think Deathloop did a better job of leading you in the right direction,
Hmm.
but it also was like, okay, I found this thing. How does this pertain to anything? All right, I found this thing. What does this have to do with anything that I'm doing? Oh, I died. Now I gotta go back to it again. So that's where I was with it. But all in all, I very much enjoyed Moon Crash. I actually might stream a run through of Moon Crash for the channel at some point.
Awesome.
When Shell, when we get that thing together, so I can have a title screen.
Nice, sweet, bud. Yeah, I'm actually playing through Prey. I saw you play it, and I was like, I don't think I ever finished it. So I was like,
Hmm.
I guess I could go back to it. Yeah, it's not a bad game. Like, it's a really cool horror. It has that, that immersive sim that Arcane Studios is known for. Like through the Dishonored series and stuff, and they actually added like that little horror element aspect. There's a few times where something happens and it just completely blindsides me, and I will admit I let out a little yelp, where I'm like and yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty terrifying at times.
oh, I absolutely did. The first time, well, you've played part of it, so it's not a spoiler, and it's been out since 2017, so it shouldn't be a spoiler for people that want to play it. And I'm not gonna go much into it. The first time you run into a nightmare,
Oh yeah.
because I came out of like I think I came out the elevator, and it's like a it's like the load screen, and then I come out the elevator, and it was right there, and I was like, "Yo, what the f is that?"
Yeah.
Just ran for my life.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, oh man, like all of a sudden it was like nightmares chasing you. And I was like, there's nothing around. And then like I did like a 180, and it was like right there going underneath the door. And I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. Gold, how about you, bud? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? What have you been cooking? Kind of give us, since it's been about 2 months, give us a little rundown.
Real quick, uh, go ahead and switch back to the other thing with all four of us. Talk
Oh,
about Paladin. So Paladin and I go back a while, about decade. You had made really good Sea of Thieves video, and I had hit you up. My gamer tag was not Gold Shell at the time; it was my last name. But
Mm.
uh, we had collaborated and started Pirate Port Radio, and Abstracticus came in. A gentleman from North Carolina. I had to leave. I believe it was around the time that was around 2016. So that was when my middle child was being born and my wife was having complications and stuff like that. So I had to back out. Then I saw you guys do that. What was it? The 2016 or 2018 or whatever showcase where Rare actually brought you and Abstracticus over to the studios to actually be a part of that whole multiplayer reveal. And I had hit you up after that and congratulated you guys, and I was excited. And then next thing I know, Practicus hit me up and said, "Hey, check your inbox." And Rare had sent me an alpha code for Sea of Thieves, so that was really cool. I got the little Vanguard. I've probably got I've got some time in Sea of Thieves. How much? But I don't. We'll discuss that later because that's the main topic. But as far as the games I've been playing, I've been on this Bandai Namco kick. I finally finished Scarlet Nexus. Um, Bought Tekken 8 for $20, a physical copy. I've already put 30 hours in that and grinded all the Pac-Man stuff in it. Speaking of Pac-Man, I'm currently playing Shadow Labyrinth, which is a pretty janky, charming Metroidvania set in the Pac-Man universe. The story is getting interesting, and yes, I can confirm it has a waifu.
That's what everybody's here for, I guess.
That's the,
It's what
you
gets
can't be
it's the
successful if you
people
don't
going.
have a waifu. But yeah,
yeah. I was
that's what
actually
I've been
surprised
doing.
with that game because it didn't review well. I thought it was going to review well. I had it in one of my fantasy leagues, and I thought it was actually going to do pretty well. Oh, Cyber Gunther. Scarlet Nexus is freaking awesome. Play it. I played the demo, but yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, that would be gold right there if you want to just kind of go in a little bit about your time with it. But yeah, I played the demo and I liked it, but I never actually got to go back. I think it's still on Game Pass, right?
Okay,
No,
I,
no, it
I, I'm
never
gonna
it
give a
never
one
was
review on
past.
Scarlet
They just
Nexus real
gave it
quick.
what call it. They put it on the showcase. I've played through it myself as well. It's one of the
Yeah,
few JRPGs that I've actually got all the achievements in 1,000 out of 1,000. It's
Okay,
fantastic. I hope they have a sequel.
yeah, I
nice.
believe Scarlet Nexus is on sale. It's always on sale, honestly. Yeah, Cyber Gunther. Bandai Namco's always doing sales. I've picked up a couple good ones like Ace Combat 7, One Piece World Odyssey on some good Bandai Namco sales. As far as Scarlet Nexus goes, I think it was a 7 out of 10 up until I actually finally finished it, and then the stories kind of converged and it stuck the landing. So I'm going to bump it up to about an 8.5. I really enjoyed Scarlet Nexus. I'm glad I gave that one another shot.
Facts, Cyber Gunther. The fighting is what really the
Yes.
fighting and the art style is what really like got me interested in it. And then once you played through it, and the one thing I feel like people that played it that didn't really connect with it was you have to play through both stories. It's not like it's optional, but it's not
Hmm.
optional. Like in order to get the full gist of what's going on, because if you just play through one storyline, you're like, what's going on? But you have to play through both character storylines. And the second run through is much easier than the first one because the second character levels up with you. So it's very enjoyable. Again, I hope they have a sequel coming out in the near future.
Very nice. Also, we have the man, we have the myth, we have the legend, Web Dave, in the chat. If you guys aren't aware, he was came on our podcast last time we had an episode, and we always appreciate him. Such a solid dude. I got to hang out with him while he was in here in LA for Summer Games Fest. He does have a podcast tonight. It will be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. He'll have, I think, KY Bob, and I can't remember the other thing off the top of my head. I saw it, and Hargeet Chani, as always. So go check them out later today. They will be on live. Yeah, as for
And
me,
one
oh, go ahead.
thing, real quick, Dave, I'll hit you up about coming on here soon. So
Oh, yeah, have him
just
back
talk
as a
to your
rig. He
D.
was great.
I
Awesome.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's such a great dude. As for me, what have I been playing? Yeah, Prey. I already said that. That was actually a pretty awesome awesome game. Like I said, I'm really digging it. What else? Dead by Daylight. I actually got back into that. I found a cool, like a solid group of people that want to play it. And yeah, we've been playing it pretty much every weekend now that I switched to overnights. Um, Pretty much weekends are my only time to play, or early morning, but nobody's really up early morning. so
Has
um,
any
so
of the
yeah, I've been
new
playing.
updates really caught your eye on that, Cork? Like I know Dead by Daylight has been adding a bunch of like content from like the different horror movies and stuff. Anything particular that has stuck out to you in the last few months or so that they're coming out with or came out with recently?
Yeah, they just released the Walking Dead update. So yeah, they didn't release a killer; it was all survivors. So you get either Rick Grimes or Michonne. She uh, Grimes, you can buy a skin that turns him into Daryl Dixon. Um, yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then yeah, but the update's busted. Like it's really janky. There's a lot of bugs and some of the killers are like insanely overpowered. So it makes it a little hard to like play against some killers. So we'll have to see what they do for balancing and stuff. But Dead by Daylight's been awesome. I finished Wheel World. I don't know, that's on Game Pass. That's been a solid game.
You
Absolutely
mean
love it.
Spike?
What's up?
You mean Ghost Spike?
Yeah, Ghost Bike.
I don't know
Uh,
why they changed the Ghost Spike was such a better name than Will
yeah,
World, but that's what we got.
yeah, but I like it. It was a cool game. I almost have it 100%ed. But yeah, it's a solid game. Real quick, I think it's like I think by 5 hours I was already finished with the storyline, and then it was just mopping up some stuff here and there. So it's not too bad of a game. I think some of the achievements are bugged, but it's from a small indie developer, so I mean you can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, I was
Um,
planning on giving that one a go, probably mostly through streaming. I like one of the things that I like about using the cloud is that like some of these like smaller games, I can instead of downloading them and playing on the thing, I normally just like put my little Razer V2 Pro, Razer Kishi V2 Pro on my phone and just like
nice.
handheld that thing, and it's always fun to get through a lot of these smaller games as handheld games versus having them on the big screen, because then I can like have some anime that I'm trying to catch up on in the back while I'm
Yeah.
using thumbing it.
The last thing I've been playing is Wildgate. I got a couple of games. Nobody's really played it, which actually reminds me because we got Paladin Topaz here and we have Gold Show. It's like Sea of Thieves, but in space. And it's a lot more focused. So there's not as much, it's a little open, but it's not as much open world where you'll be doing a ton of, like where you could go fishing or where you have downtime. Basically, there's an
Is that the
artifact.
one made by ex Blizzard devs?
It might be. I'm not
Is
entirely
that the one
sure.
Michael Morheim made? I didn't know that was a Sea of Thieves in space. I'm gonna have to give
Basically,
another look at that
yeah.
because if
So
that's
basic,
Blizzard devs, I'm a Blizzard fanboy. I know how
yeah.
Michael Morheim works.
So
Okay,
basically, with that, is yeah, there's an artifact that you have to find on the map somewhere, but like there's little mini instances that you have to jump in, like kind of like the forts in Sea of Thieves. So you'll stop off and you got to go through some are ranked different levels, but then you also have other ships that are trying to find the artifact and they're trying to level up their ship as well because when you loot these outposts or like these forts, I guess just to kind of keep it the same, so the same terminology. You can loot it and it will have like special drops. So like some have like a quad cannon, some have like a sniping cannon, some will give you a booster, or some will do like add things to your ship. And yeah, it's really really cool. You could either win by getting the artifact and taking it to the warp gate. And then once you get to the warp gate, you win if you're the first with the artifact. People can board your ship and take out the artifacts, and then or you could destroy every ship. But it's not like Sea of Thieves where like it's all more a little bit more PvP focused versus PvE. So if you're really into the PvP aspect of Sea of Thieves, this would be definitely a game for you guys. It's a solid game. Yeah, Dreamhaven. That's who did it. But yeah, enough about us. You guys are here for the awesome news and our awesome guest. Gold, how do you guys want to start this? Do you guys want to pick a topic, or do you want to just jump into State of Rare and talk a little bit about Pirate Port Radio? How do you want to do this?
well, we'll talk about Pirate Port Radio because
Okay.
I don't know if Paladin has seen this, but you're an Easter egg in the game, buddy. This
I
is
have.
uh, Port Merrick. Says these tankards bear the names of Abstracticus and Paladin Topaz, friends who love to share a drink and a chat. And there's some other stuff in there, but yeah,
Yeah.
that,
I mean, that was there. I think from the jump, actually, and
mhm.
like what an incredible kind of gift. Uh, for like a lot of hours of hard work doing the videos and the podcasting and all that kind of stuff, and obviously it's a mutually beneficial relationship, you kind of hope, but I mean, they don't have to do that, and like what a way to honor your community. And there's so many individuals that were like myself and like you guys, that were put in this way, and I think that's just really incredible way to keep the community kind of involved and happy. And like as a kid growing up a gamer, finding Easter eggs and stuff, like you kind of you dream of something like that one day. So really cool to be involved, even in some small way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can you kind of tell us, kind of give us a play by play? Because I mean, I got kind of a little gift too with the alpha code, but can you give us a play by play, like how Rare approached you when you went over there? What'd you guys do? Like,
Yeah.
was it a kid in the candy store moment?
I mean, like to this day, it's one of my fondest memories, right? Like I think again, as I was a kid at that point, I was 15 when I started making like Sea of Thieves YouTube videos.
Dude, when
Um,
you popped up on camera, I had just watched that video, and
yeah,
there it
right.
is. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I look back at that Xbox trailer, the Sea of Thieves trailer from E3, and I'm like, I was a baby. Like I had no facial hair, nothing going on. In
I
fact,
will
I
link that in the description. Give
my
it a watch.
my wonderful dad had to come with me because there was a see the whole point, backing up the bus, there was a play it first contest, and Rare created this kind of initiative to get some buzz going, and people could make any kind of creative project. Of course, a lot of them were videos, and things like that. And I believe it was 10 people, that ended up getting kind of selected or like winning the contest. But I was 16 and I wasn't actually eligible to be involved in the contest because you had to be 18 to fly there solo, and to sign whatever waivers you need to sign. So I think, um, fortunately for me, and also because of the great people that were Rare, like I was one of the first people on that scene, and I was very consistent, and we talked online all the time. I mean, my main contact there was Emma Bridal. I still kind of follow her to this day, and she's in America now, actually. Um, anyway, she, I think, maybe put in a good word for me, and kind of got the studio heads to let me come. Another one was Cameron Thomas, who was very involved. But yeah, my dad had to come with me, and so we had a great time. Like just when you I got that email, I didn't think that I would be able to go because of my age, but I get an email in my inbox one day, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to have you. Here's kind of the flight details we were thinking," and off we went. So yeah, it's an unforgettable experience for sure. Highlight of my YouTube career, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I bet, man. So, did they let you tour the studios, anything like that, or they just kind of?
Yeah, yeah. So we went, we got there, and myself and many people made videos documenting their experience. So if you are interested, I'm sure we can get people a link, or we can find something.
Yeah,
But
we'll do that.
um, we got there, we arrived in London, and then we kind of drove to Birmingham where their studio is. Well, around there is where their studio is. Um, we met the team that night and had dinner kind of at the hotel that we were staying at, and it was a quick trip. Like it was like 3 nights kind of thing, like very in and out. Obviously because it was very expensive on their part, right? But they did absolutely everything to make everyone feel as welcome and included as possible. And there were people from all over. I'm Canadian, 3 Canadians, I think, um, 6 or 7 Americans, and there was one individual from Mexico even. So people came from all over the place, and like everyone was involved. Everybody was talking to everybody. Um, all the kind of big name developers were with us pretty much the whole time. We got to talk to everybody. Joe Neate, even Craig
Joe
Duncan.
actually
Sorry.
went on a podcast about 3 years ago on
Okay.
Xbox Chaturdays with Miles Dompierre, and I had super chatted him, and he still has the cup you guys gave him with the logo. And he
Yeah.
actually confirmed that you were the first Sea of Thieves podcast and all that stuff. So I'll link in the description for that podcast as well. But yeah, he gave
Oh,
you
I would
flowers on
love to see
the cup.
that. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that, and
But
I
continue,
unfortunately,
sorry.
no, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's amazing, right? And I think as a developer, you get like a lot of gratification from meeting fans, and people who are kind of like minded. And um, I don't know if we swear here, but like we were pretty
No,
no
you're good.
BS about everything. Like we said what we thought about it, like constructive feedback and whatever. And I mean, you look at how the game's grown, and it's because the community has kind of effectively communicated what they want, but also the developers listen, and that's such a huge part. Like, I think Sea of Thieves is one of the prime examples of video game developers. Like, what a slow burn that game had. Like,
Yeah,
it comes out.
that was
It was
barren at alpha, dude.
absolutely, and like I think, I mean, they were all the developers, or sorry, all the big publishers wanted some live service, and I think that Sea of Thieves is like what a great opportunity for that. But this game, like, I still hear about it in the news cycle and all the podcasts I listen to, and they made it the jump to PlayStation, and what an add to the player base that is, and on
Yes.
PC, and all these great collaborations with like Disney for Jack Sparrow, and just they constantly do
Excellent.
things to keep it
You and I
fresh.
went through that one. That was an excellent DLC.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, they're just committed, and they just care about what people think and want, and I think they know what they want to be, and they don't take themselves too seriously and think they know better. And I think they have a great team, which makes some of the other news about Rare recently kind of disappointing, right? But yeah, I don't know if
Spit your bars on
uh,
that, man.
yeah, like,
It
I
was a
think
good segue.
the obviously legendary developers have exited the studio. I'm not going to pretend to know the details. Like, I can speculate all I want, but Louise O'Connor left. Greg Mayles left after, I think, 35 years. And I mean, by that point, maybe he wanted to retire. Like, I'm going to be done work as soon as possible. But they they lost some brilliant minds over there. And I know from my experience there that Everwild was in the works even when I was, heavily involved with that studio from afar.
Okay.
And well, just like, I think that's public knowledge. Like, I think that
Yeah.
the development cycle said 8, 9 years, maybe even a decade that it's been in development.
Mhm.
So the idea has been there for that long, right? And obviously it's went through some sort of development hell and couldn't find their footing. But what a what an incredible talent to be lost. And then I don't know where the focus is going to go or what's going to happen next for Rare, but they have something good there, and it'd be a shame to blow it up for no real reason.
Mhm.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think it's
Actual
definitely a shame.
factuals.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a shame. I do want to say, yeah, I think you're 100% right on the Sea of Thieves and devs listening to the community. The game definitely, as a former developer myself, I used to work for Electronic Arts for years. It's definitely something that's paramount and key. You want your game to succeed, and it's not that the developers don't listen. I think it's more so like for certain games. I'm not saying that's what Rare did. I think they nailed it. You're absolutely right. It's one of the most important things because the game was a little slow burn at the start. It had its trouble. The longevity was a little questionable. And it what they did with it and the powerhouse that they made it in today is a prime example of why you need the community, why the community is so important, and how that information is relayed back to the developers in a meaningful way for them to make those changes. And that's what a lot of times you actually don't get is where that feedback isn't properly being given to developers in the right way, I think. And maybe it could also be some developer pride where, I mean, they don't know how to develop games. What do they know? But and then usually the game ends up dying, sadly. But I think it's 100%. You were right on the mark. Rare really, really does care about their community, and Sea of Thieves is a prime example of that. With Everwild, I do want to say, yeah, that's such a shame, man. I was a little, I was a little skeptical of it at first, because they didn't really show much. I didn't really hear a lot about it. Usually, other than Phil Spencer saying things here and there, it was always like real under the radar, especially for such a massive title, especially from Rare. The last thing was Sea of Thieves from them, and that was shoot almost not a decade ago. I don't know how. I mean, how long has it been out now? It seems like it's been out
Well, it came out
forever.
2018.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Same year is
about
my
7 years.
favorite game.
Yeah. So I mean, so we were. I was a little bummed about that. What do you think, Q? What's your thoughts on it with Everwild and the state of Rare?
So, one thing real quick before I talk about Everwild, one of the things that really helped Sea of Thieves, because it definitely had some. I didn't play it in the beginning, and I honestly didn't have interest in playing it in the beginning. But one of the things that did very much help it was that they kept it on the store for more than 2 weeks, unlike some other games that came out. But it definitely is the studio listening, and obviously you can't listen to everybody's feedback because everybody's feedback isn't critical, like actual useful feedback. Everybody's feedback isn't useful, but you have to go through all the unuseful feedback to get to the useful feedback. And it is quite obvious with the way that Sea of Thieves has not only, and it seems like they had a plan. Like they came out with that game knowing that, oh, okay, we have to build our roadmap going forward to what we can accomplish, and like do it in the order that we can accomplish it. Don't go after super huge tasks that we don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Go after like set goals that we know we can set, because from the get go, from the start, they've been very consistent throughout the like what 7 years at this point, getting content out, tweaking, fixing, getting to game to where the community wants it to be. And also it was, I would say, very smart on their part, the way that they built the game initially to be able to make all the changes and add all the content and do all the stuff that they've done over the years. Because a lot of games, um, you listen to developers and stuff, are kind of hamstrung by the way that the game was developed in the first place. So it's like by the time they get to the point where it's like, oh well, can we actually change this? Can we actually fix this? Can we actually do this? Sometimes the answer is no, because the way that the game's built, and at that point you might as well just build a whole nother game if in order to like change it up enough to get that content that you want out. So they had a good vision, and even though a lot of people were like, "Oh, it came out bare bones," look at where they are now. What, like over 40 million players, all
Yeah. I
multi-platform, like doing
I think
doing
you hit the nail on the
amazing.
head there for sure. Like I think you said it exactly right. Like lots of times, I think in the tech world, I think people call it like the minimum viable product (MVP), and I think
Mhm.
at the time, Rare put that out, and it was bare bones. But like you said, they were able to build on it because of the work they did up front, and look at the success paying off now, right?
Yep. And then in terms of the state of Rare where we are now, I feel like it is unfortunate that we don't get Everwild. Because it seemed like something, again, like Sea of Thieves, that was a breath of fresh air, that was something new, something different coming out of Rare. But we got to look at it the way it is, and it's like they had nearly 10 years of time to develop that game, and I don't think most publishers would have gave them that amount of time if it wasn't for, not saying Microsoft specifically, but if it wasn't for the success of Sea of Thieves. I don't think Everwild would have got 9 years of development time if they didn't build Sea of Thieves, and then Sea of Thieves became successful and they were like, oh, well, if in the beginning, if they would have had a little bit more time in the beginning, then one of the biggest like gripes that people had about it at launch was the content wouldn't have been a gripe, because they would have been able to build a little bit more content if they had maybe like a year or so extra of development, let's say. Obviously, that's not all set in stone, but we're just speculating again. So I feel like they gave they gave Rare a ton of time with Everwild, especially when we get 2019, we get the reveal, the announce trailer, and then like we kind of get rumors of reboots and them not really knowing which way the game wanted to be, and like sometimes that happens. Every game, even great ideas don't always come to fruition as much as we would like them to, and it's sad, it's unfortunate, but hopefully what Rare does is they don't let all the time and ideas and stuff that they had for Everwild go to waste, and whatever were the cool components of that game, the stuff that they felt would bring players in. I hope they take that and implement that into whatever their next project is going to be. But I do hope that because I do hope that they continue to let them build games the way that they've wanted to build games, because people forget. Everybody wants to look at Rare and be like, "Oh, remember back in the Nintendo days? Remember how awesome it was in Nintendo?" And yeah, some of their earlier Xbox exclusive games were a little bit shaky, even though I recently, like within the past like 2 or 3 years, played through Grab by the Ghoulies, and I had a really really fun time with that game. And I know that game gets a lot of gripe, but I had a really fun time with that game. But they were really successful with their Connect games. Their Connect games were some of the best Connect games that sold out there. They, Sea of Thieves. We're talking about Sea of Thieves. There, Rare still has that. Rare still has that magic, and you just gotta let them do what they do. And unfortunately for Everwild, not every game comes out. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right too. I think I think if it was any other publisher, they probably wouldn't have gotten the dev time that they needed. I think Xbox kind of gave them the Blizzard, Rockstar treatment, where something like Sea of Thieves is pulling in so much revenue money from their microtransactions. Like I said, when they released on PlayStation, that opened up a whole new revenue stream for them, and they were killing it. They were like number one, I think, on sales for a while. And I think that was the only kind of saving grace. But then eventually, like I said, there's only so much you can do before you start realizing, hey, we're hemorrhaging money here. This is a 10-year project. Now we're going back, and you're saying we might need another 2 or 3 more. Like, that's something we probably can't do. Especially, I mean, as much as I would love to have a shelf life of Sea of Thieves forever, when it, when is the shelf life for it? Like we were just saying, it's a 7-year game and it's still running strong now, but will it be the same in 2 or 3 years? Where's Xbox's plan? What's Rare's plan? So I think you're right on that. I think because of the goodwill and what Rare's done, it's been such an amazing ride for them that they kind of gave them that little extra breathing room to develop what they want to develop. Gold, what about you? What do you think about the state of Rare, where it's been, how's it going? Where do you think they're going? That kind of thing.
Everwild was one of those things where you just kept not seeing it and you just in your gut expected the worst. So I wasn't surprised about that one. Perfect Dark, on the other hand, that one annoyed the piss out of me because last year they showed that goddamn game to look like it could have came out that year. Even after, and I think we all owe Jeff Grubb an apology. he was right. I guess they whipped up something together real quick and said, "Hey, it's still alive." But he was right. It was on life support, and I guess they just pulled the plug. But yeah, the Perfect Dark one stung bad because, man, I watched that trailer. Like I said on Web Days podcast, I watched that damn
Because of
trailer.
the times. I watched it
It
because
was
of the
so
times.
good.
I was like, yo, I can't wait for this. Because
Oh
I
man,
played through I never played the old games back in the day when they were like I didn't have an
I
N64,
did.
and I
Yeah.
didn't buy Perfect Dark Zero for the 360. So I played through the original and Zero after they gave the announcement that the new one was coming out. When they first did the reveal back in 2020, I was like, I'm gonna play through these games, and I had a fantastic time with one. Zero was
I didn't even mess with Zero.
it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. But
I
like I was
didn't.
set. I was there. I was like, yo, let's go. I'm down for it. More Joy in the Dark. More crazy hover dirt bikes. More random sci-fi gadgetry and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah, it was ridiculous. And I still have the Institute music on my workout playlist because Joanne or Perfect Dark's music went just as hard because Grant Kirkhope, who did you ever meet Grant Paladin, the composer?
Uh, I don't think so. I think I forget the guy's name. I think it was Steven something.
Steven or Robin Beanland. Either way, but yeah,
Oh,
the
I met
Grant
him. Yeah, yeah,
Kirkhope
yeah.
oh, okay. But Grant Kirkhope did the Goldeneye music too, and it went it transferred into the successor Perfect Dark and went just
Yeah.
as hard. So that game was
It's very noticeable that like the Perfect Dark theme is GoldenEye inspired.
yeah, it was so that one stung. As far as Rare as a whole, let them cook, as we say here on Game Pass Gumbo. It's Everwild. The whole Perfect Dark thing is not really Rare's problem. That's more of a Crystal Dynamic Initiative problem, but it is a Rare franchise, so I'm not sure about how much their involvement is with it. But I actually do think that we're going to see some pretty interesting stuff come out of the Rare catalog, but it ain't going to be from Rare in the foreseeable future. I think it's going to be Toys for Bob, because I just dropped a video I think a week or so ago, and I'll drop a link in the description. But I do think that Banjo and those characters might be showing up in Crash Team Racing next year. Just a hunch. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it's supposed to be called Grand Prix Edition. It leaked, and Toys for Bob, Paul Yan has talked about they want to use Rare's or Xbox's catalog, and most of Xbox's mascot catalog is Rare. So be on the lookout for Crash Team Racing Grand Prix Edition next
Yeah,
year.
I don't know
I didn't
because
see that leak. Where'd that leak at? Sorry, Cork. I was
no,
trying to
go ahead,
talk,
go ahead.
but my mic was muted. I didn't see that leaked. Where did that leak go, Joe?
Reddit, and it
Okay,
was pulled immediately.
because I was
I
cause
have some of the I have some of the captured screenshots in the video. They took it down real fast.
okay,
But
because I was
they
about to
didn't
say
they didn't specifically mention. So here's the thing. They didn't specifically mention which characters and which new tracks in the leak. They just said new characters, new tracks. The only reason I think it's Banjo is because of Paul Yan's interview with Canadian Guy A. He's a
mhm.
big Spyro and Crash YouTuber, and he said stuff about wanting to use their catalog, and at the end he said that the honey bear has been hibernating long enough.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think I I'm just doing the Charlie Day meme where I'm just piecing stuff together. I don't know anything definitive, but if I was a betting man, those new characters are probably going to include Banjo.
Because I was muted, but I was saying I was like, don't give the Beard and the Bird sycophants hope.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Hey, I'm a banjo
He's
bro.
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Like I said, Paris and Boom, we're banjo bros. We've talked about it and everything.
We're Banjo bros, man.
We're banjo bros. I'm ready for a banjo kazooie, and I think that was one of the biggest things. Is that's always kind of been where Rare's mindset was at. Is they didn't want to go back and revisit those old classics, and I think that's what kind of not led to its downfall, because I think Rare's still doing very strong. I think that's what's kind of set them back a little bit.
Yeah.
Is because they have so many great IPs on under their belt that they just don't want to revisit. And I
I have
think,
one more thing I want Rare to
oh yeah,
fix. I
go
want
ahead.
Rare to go in and tell Delilah Studios to add online co-op to Battletoads. That's
There you
what
go.
that game needs.
Yeah,
6 years
Because
later.
Battletoads is a great Battletoads is actually my brother and I co-opted a little bit, but he lost
Oh, I had a
interest in it, so
blast
we're way
playing
better
through
with
it.
friends.
hmm
But you live in Jersey and I live in Kentucky. We
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
They need to add that
yeah.
online feature so we can actually play that. That's
I was
sorry.
actually
Continue.
hoping that they extended it because they had hinted at there being like a season two, so them adding content to it, and then it just never happened. And I was like, like I would have bought that DLC to get um, more of the side scrolling beat 'em up stuff because they did like second half of the game they did focus a lot more on like some of the mini game stuff, and I could see how that turned some
Which
people
were
off
fun,
because
frustrating, but
they
fun.
were they were frustratingly fun. Yes,
Yeah.
it will never be as bad as the original Turbo Tunnel. That was atrocious. I recently replayed through the like within the last couple years, playing through Rare Replay. Played the old I beat Battletoads arcade, which I never beat the arcade thing before. I basically cheated because like you get infinite lives, and then I played through the first Battletoads game, and that tunnel. I remember playing this game.
Shout out to
I
Adele.
did not remember how awfully terribly hard it was getting through that tunnel, and nothing in the newer game was anywhere near as hard as that. But like it did get frustrating at near the end, and then they just completely forgot that most of the beginning was a side scrolling brawler, which they did a good job at. So I wish they would have had a season 2 so that we could have got some more brawling episode content and maybe some more mini games, but not as many as the back half of the game had.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Abdel, or otherwise known as Clute on Twitter. Yo, hit the like button. Please do, guys. This helps us. We are a very small channel, and for us to grow, to get bigger, and have more awesome guests like Paladin here, we would need those likes and those views. So please and thank you very much. But yeah, I
What's
do
up,
want to.
Flute?
Yeah, I do want to say with the yeah, like I said, I think now with the shift, especially with certain people leaving Rare, I think it's a con, but you know, because you lose a lot of that valued talent and that experience. But I think it's more of a benefit a little bit now because maybe some of these games they might rethink. Hey, let's go back
Maybe we
into
should go
the
back
vault.
to it.
Let's go
Hmm.
back to the vault. Let's see what we can do. People are asking. This is something we've talked about how Rare listens to the community. And I think that's something I think maybe they might take the next step on.
I've
Let's
always
Just
thought that they
remake
should put
Cameo.
Viva Pinata as a
yeah.
mobile game.
Cameo was a good one. What was that?
Yeah,
Viva Pinata
Viva
was a mobile
Pinata,
game.
Oh yeah.
huh?
Viva
Yeah,
Pinata.
Viva
They had a,
Pinata would make an excellent mobile game.
well,
Oh yeah.
it was a mobile game. They had a mobile game.
Oh, did they? Well, they need to
Yeah,
bring
like
it
back in
back.
the 360 era, like
Oh,
I think when the second one came out, they also came out with a mobile game, but it was probably short lived because playing games on mobile back in like
well, now
2009,
they have King.
ugh.
King
Yeah,
will
now they
fire
have King. But I honestly, I would love to see them, especially because, I would love to see them do a mix. I would love to see them do similar to because they have enough studio for it, similar to like Obsidian, where they have teams working on different projects. Like obviously, Sea of Thieves is the big monster. You know, let them suck up as many resources as they need, as long as it's it makes sense, but then like have a team of 25 people work on a new IP, and then like if they need more people, like bring them over there. Have a team working on Banjo. Have a team working on like a remake of Cameo or something. Have a team come out with Grab by the Ghoulies too. I'll buy that one. But like have have kind of
who
instead of having
Gemini
everybody
sequel?
try to instead of everybody trying to work on the next big thing, especially with the way that the gaming landscape is right now, and with the viability and profitability and sustainability, because people act like those don't exist for this thing of Game Pass, it would make sense to like give them the opportunity to kind of figure out things, because one of the things that I think and not developers, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to when these studios are able to make a bunch of smaller games at the same time is this the cool thing about smaller games, indie and double A games, is that you can look at, you don't have to make it an everything game. A lot of big AAA games try to be everything games. They got to have a little bit of everything in there, but focus on this one concept or this one idea or this one thing, and then build a game around it, and then make that better. And then you have these several different teams focusing on specific things and making those things better. And then when it does come time to making a bigger game or a game that has more stuff in it, you have these teams that have already built a specialization in this system or this type of gameplay or this thing, from making smaller games that didn't have as much not trouble. um I forgot a word, sorry, that happens sometimes. uh
I saw the thought leave. Like I saw you
yeah.
on a roll. You were there, and I saw it just disappear.
Oh,
Wah, wah, wah.
Womp womp.
I think you're if I can add though, like I think you're so right. Like double A video games, in my opinion, mostly have been keeping like the industry alive. And you mentioned
yeah.
Obsidian, like they are crushing it out there. I think about this year, like things that I've played, Atom Fall from Rebellion,
Yeah.
loved that game. Double A, South of Midnight, also loved it. People didn't like it as much as I did, but loved it.
No, we
Story
Um,
was
all like it
fantastic
here.
for South of Midnight.
Yeah,
yeah
we all like South of Midnight
Absolutely.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing. This is a PlayStation game, but there's one called The Midnight Walk. I'm playing. It's another like small AA game. Love it. It's completely made out of clay. Like the kind of creative games and honestly like successful ones. And I get a lot of my Xbox news from a podcast, Defining Duke. I don't know if you've heard it, but
Oh yeah.
something that
I like
the
Cognito. Good.
yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah. Something that they say sometimes is like it doesn't have to, it shouldn't have to be like a $1 billion success, you know. It should be like, why can't you have like 10 multi-million-dollar video games that are successful? Like the industry, the kind of huge machine that Microsoft and Xbox is, like, miss the mark sometimes with some pretty easy freaking layups that they have. Like, give a team Banjo Kazooie. Everybody I talked to online for the last decades, like, we want another Banjo game. I think they're missing that kind of child friendly, like, platformer. You want a team to develop it. Like, they have teams. I can think of Double Fine, like, based on their work in Psychonauts 2. I feel like they would be a great match for that. People want more Fallout. Bethesda is working on some other great titles like Indie and whatnot, but give Fallout to Obsidian. That's been said 1,000 times. Like, you have the IP, you've bought enough freaking studios, like, and you need to have the creative vision and the talent in there to do it in a reasonable time frame. And that's where Everwild kind of, unfortunately, I don't know what the problem was there. Like, I I'm sure there was a vision. To think that it was in development for a decade and nothing was salvageable is kind of like shocking to me. And I kind of hope that we, even as an industry, like, if you want to, some great PR that I feel like Xbox could get at this point would be like, okay, Perfect Dark's not coming out, Everwild's not coming out. Release like a free or easy, like, playable demo for some of these projects that are getting canceled, and just like give us what you got, or even like a documentary. Um, People would eat that up, you know, and there's some diehards and people that pay attention. Um, and then you never know, like, maybe it could lead to something more. So absolutely, like, just backing up, AA games, definitely the heart of the industry here right now, I feel like.
Oh yeah, well, we will. This won't be the this won't be the last time Perfect Dark gets canceled. We'll get we'll get another attempt in like another a decade or two, and then maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. But this is like what the isn't this like the like obviously nothing that got trailers or anything, but this is like the third attempt at like starting or at least like getting on to like another Perfect Dark game that's
Hmm.
been made in the last 20 years. It's just the one that got the furthest. Um, but I hope that it's such a great IP. Like they like the thing with Rare is that like they I understand not wanting to jump back and go into these IPs, especially if you didn't work on it. Like you want to be the Rare now, but at the same time, it's like we're in a place where so much, especially console gamers, so much of the gaming, so much of the consumer are like they're living on nostalgia. A lot of us are in our late 20s, 30s, 40s. Like everybody mobile gaming is where all the kids are at, right? All the kids are
Yeah.
mobile gaming.
Especially with Xbox, I think you're
Hmm.
right. Like, they are, I don't want to say dying, but they are very much changing. They've like slowed down the pace of who's buying consoles and whatnot. So especially Xbox, I think, can get away with that nostalgia for like the fans that are still
You
around and
can
going to
lean
stick around.
into it, especially because now with all the studios that they have, it's not just a here and there. And it just comes down to scoping these projects. A new banjo doesn't need to be a big multi-million selling block. Look at and I always make fun of the game because it's just nostalgia bait and in a basic platformer, and people are like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing that's ever been made." But like, look at Astrobot. You telling me that y'all can't make a banjo game at least on the same like budget, the monetary constraints as Astrobot, and make a decent solid platformer with all that entails. Like it doesn't need to be. You don't need to spend $250 million on a banjo game. You just need to put out a banjo game that looks pretty and people can be like, "Oh, the nostalgia! This is one of the greatest things ever."
Absolutely. And
I'm gonna
Astrobot
buy
won freaking game of the
Astrobot
year.
when it comes to
Hmm.
Xbox.
So it's just like
Sorry.
it's they have it, like they have the potential to do it, and it's not like I don't think that we have better ideas than the people that are like sitting in the chairs that this is their job to come up with these ideas. It just it the question winds up becoming what's the thing in the way that keeps this from happening, right? What's the thing in the way that keeps you from doing a banjo game that's like a $50 million budget and like keeping it like within the constraints where like, okay, well maybe we won't sell 15 million copies of Banjo, but let's make a game that if we sell 2 million copies, it's a success, right? And that if there's only 2 million Banjo fans out there, then they've been satiated and they can stop complaining. And they can move on to something else that they want. And you can keep doing that because like you said earlier, like why not have 10 games that sell a couple million versus trying to have one game that sells 15, 20 plus, right? And that's where we're at. Because I'm like 3/4 of the way through the first Banjo game because again I didn't have it in 64, so I didn't play it back in the day, and I only like started caring about playing it not in the 360 era but now, and I played a good way portion through the first game. I can see the lore that people have with it, but I'm not necessarily aged out of platformers, but if I'm playing a platformer collectathon kind of game like that, I need there to be more than just the platforming and collectathon part of it. That's why I like the Psychonauts 2 so much because it was that was the busy work, but the story is what really like pulled me in for it. So like I don't know, maybe do a more cinematic Banjo. I don't know. I'm not the person to talk about it. I'm not a big Bear Bird fan.
All right, how do I kick you off this podcast? So
Well,
I
two
do
things.
want to.
We'll let Toys for Bob do. We'll let Toys for Bob do Banjo.
Yeah.
So we'll let them work their magic. And second, I did have somewhat of an idea to bring back Perfect Dark. It's going to be kind of lazy, but you just make Agent Dark a character in Call of Duty, see how people like it, and then if you want to do a stealth-based Call of Duty later, make her the character. I mean, some of the Call of Duty stories can get as goofy as the Perfect Dark story, so it'd be a perfect fit. But that's all I gotta say on that.
Nice. I do want to kind of just go around the horn real quick. We were talking about Sea of Thieves. I kind of want to know, like, they came out with Pirates of the Caribbean. They came out with a DLC for Monkey Island. If there was one IP, pirate IP, that you would like to see in Sea of Thieves, all right, Gold Shell's got his hand. What would it be?
Peter Pan.
Yeah, that's a solid
Being
one right
able
there.
to hear the clock of the crocodile come to your ship would be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's a solid one. Q, what about you?
So I'm not a particular fan of this franchise, but I know this is what the people want, and I guarantee you that they would have a bunch of people lose their shit if they did a One Piece crossover.
100%.
Yes.
If they put
Yes.
Luffy and they put the Straw Hat Pirates and what's the name of their damn boat? The whatever
Um,
the name of that ship
the
is,
Sunny
they put
Mary
the Sunny if they
or
put
Sunny,
that
yeah, Sunny, something like that. I can't remember
if
off the
they
top of
put
my
Yeah, I
head.
that
forgot.
in Sea of Thieves, people would lose their shit.
Oh yeah,
I'd
I
lose my
would.
mind.
I would.
I
I'd
like
lose
One
my
Piece,
shit.
dude.
What about you, Paladin? What would you like to see pirate IP come into Sea of Thieves?
That's tough for me. I can't think of too many pirate IPs, but the thing that immediately comes to mind is more like in-house crossovers. So like adding, Minecraft or like
Okay.
kind of incorporating. I liked a Plague Tale Requiem, and there was like some ship sailing in that, or even like Age of Empires. Like, I don't know how you would do it. I'd probably need to think about it a bit more. But like having some crossover from your other kind of franchises, because again, they don't take themselves too seriously. So maybe there could
Yeah,
be some Spartans on the ship or something like that. I don't know.
that'd be cool. No, definitely. I think that's one thing they should do is cross brand utilization a little bit more. I think it's something that a lot of people have been asking for. Like, why isn't Marcus Phoenix, Call of Duty, or Halo, or even the Doom guy? Why aren't they in Call of Duty right now? You're bringing Beavis and Butthead. You're bringing Stan Marsh from American Dad. You're doing all this stuff, but not your actual IPs. Like, no, that's fair. I agree, 100%. For me,
They put Stan in Call of Duty.
yeah, Stan Marsh is in
Stan
Call
and
of Duty.
Roger.
Yeah, Stan and Roger.
And he's $20 too.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he looks weird. It looks really, really weird.
it got
Looks
to.
like Grogu when he got into IG-11 from The Mandalorian. He's just in an exosuit. It's so stupid. But it's I looked at the price. I tell you what, if it was $10, maybe
Yeah.
I'd probably buy it.
For me, it's a toss up. There's two that I think would work really well in the Sea of Thieves, especially as a narrative experience like they did with Pirates of the Caribbean and even Monkey Island. I mean, the Monkey Island ones are basically the game just redone in a first person setting. Um, but I think Goonies. Goonies would be
Oh
a
yeah,
solid one where
absolutely.
they could make something. They already got the Disney
Let's
thing.
do all of
Like,
them.
I didn't even think of the Goodies. That's an excellent one.
I think
Yeah.
Goonies would be a solid one, and the second one, this would be a little bit more far fetched, but like you said, they don't kind of take it seriously. It's kind of more fun. Treasure Planet, the one that was a
Mhm.
little sci-fi,
That's another
that was
one
that
that I was thinking that would
cartoon
be dope.
where it goes to like outer
Bring in this
space.
the hover cell thing,
Yeah,
like the little cell board that he had. Yo, that how awesome that would be if they could add that to the game and you could just like solo hover cell across the seas.
yeah. Or even change it. Like you
Yep.
get teleported to a new world or something, and it just changes. Like I think they could do some really, really cool stuff there. But like I said, I mean, who knows? Those IPs cost a lot of money. Licensing is not
Especially
cheap,
Disney.
What do you
especially
think the
Disney.
over under is on them working on an Unreal Engine 5 Sea of Thieves 2?
I think it's very possible. But again, they got to see how
'Cause
much they're going to get. I could see if they were going to do it for PlayStation, going to PlayStation, doing a whole brand new development update and stuff. But I think because so much time was tied up with Everwild, I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze at the time. But as of
Hmm.
now, their
Maybe
slate's open.
maybe they do.
Yeah,
And honestly, like at this point, what's crazy about it is that like, excuse me, with these forever games, unless they're like we talk about how the game was built in the first place so that they can add content, unless there's something that they want to add that they really just can't do it, they don't even have to make a sequel. They can just do like a Unreal Engine 5 like update to the game and
yeah,
just like okay now we did
yeah,
this extensive work and everything that you already had is there, but now we'll be able to add even more type
yeah.
stuff to
yeah,
it. And I think
I'd much
and
prefer that.
I
Because what
know
would you even call it? Sea of Thieves 2? That would be boring.
yeah, and I know that like a lot. I know the analytics and the people that are sitting there and their whole entire job is to be like this is what the people want. I sometimes people don't want sequels, and I know like infamously Activision with the Destiny wants to be a 10-year game, and Activision be like, nah, you need to make a sequel because like
Yeah.
the number two just makes people spend more money. It's like not every game needs that, especially when it's something unique and you don't want to come out. We're seeing now with like let's use Splitgate 2 as an example, where coming out with that 2 doesn't seem like it was worth uh basically torpedoing 1 so that they could bring out 2. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just need to, hey, hey, we're putting in enough effort into this game to make a sequel, so we should make a sequel. Nah, just put in enough
Is
effort in
Sea of
that
Thieves
game
on
because it
PlayStation?
already has the fan base there. You don't want to lose the people that are already playing the game. And not everybody wants to start from square one again if you decide to make a sequel to your game instead of just extending it.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
just actually realized something too, that they could actually make that work and not alienate a whole fan base because
Mm-hmm.
Sea of Thieves is not on PlayStation 4. It is only on PlayStation 5. So if they did do the update and people on Xbox One, they could theoretically have them do it through the cloud. So that may not be a bad idea. Because I was thinking it was on PlayStation 4, but it's not. Huh. You might have a good idea there, Q.
I feel like Sea of Thieves is one of the games where that will work. There, not every game. Some games like there's enough of a difference between what they want to do and what they're doing that yeah, we just need to start this from scratch and make a sequel. Other games, especially games that have built up their base over years, like Sea of Thieves, is like it's not always it's not always a guarantee that that base is going to move on to the next thing. And then it's not always a guarantee if you try to force that base to move on to the next thing by, kind of cutting like additions or like, moving on to the next game that those people will move on with you. And especially with something that's so very is it's not completely PvP focused, but especially with something that's like the experience is so focused on like like playing with other players and running into other people in the open world, like having less people play your game isn't really the greatest thing that you want to happen, and Lord knows that would be a hard game to just have bots in, you know what I mean. That Sea of Thieves would be something that'd be difficult to just be like, oh well, we don't have enough players for people to play against, let's add some bots to it and make that work, because it's not built for that. So that's just me. I'm nobody important, but I would see like Sea of Thieves seems like one of the games where it's like it would make more sense for them to update it and move it forward versus trying to spin about a sequel to bring that same type of magic, because it is really lightning in a bottle. Sea of Thieves is lightning in a bottle. I don't know. I don't know. Even if the same exact people were working on it, I don't know if you could create the same zeitgeist that that game has created over the years with a sequel.
Yeah. I do want to be respectful of our guest time. I know we told you like an hour, hour and a half, and we're already at an hour 10. So if you want to stick with us, more than welcome. If you have to go, let us know. We'll let you spit your bars on where to find you, your social media, your YouTube channel. We'll also put links down at the bottom after the show to get you some visibility and stuff like that. But if you have to go, just let us know. I just want to let you know that. So you're totally fine if you want to stick with us. But we do want to kind of be respectful of your time. We should probably move on to the next topic, if you guys are good with that.
Yeah.
Gold?
Yeah, I got nowhere to be, so
Oh,
happy
okay.
to stay talk.
All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I know we told you like an hour, hour 30, and I didn't expect us to go this long
Yeah,
on Rare. It's
I was
been
looking
such a
at that time
polarizing.
too.
Yeah, it's been such a
Appreciate it. Yeah.
great conversation. So if you guys want to keep talking about it, that's totally cool. I just wasn't sure with your time and everything like that. All right, yeah. I think we could probably move on. I mean, I think where Rare is at, they're not in a bad spot. I think with Sea of Thieves, there's so much content there. We just named 5, 6 different things they could go in that direction. It's still making a ton of money, and I don't think they're in that much trouble. It's just a little disheartening to see where they were to where they're at. And I think they'll have something pretty awesome coming in the future, hopefully soon, because they are a bunch of very, very talented developers. But
And
I
it
know
always
you,
sucks to see something get shown and then it gets canceled. Like things that are in the ether and we just hear about through rumors and speculation getting canceled. That's one thing, but when it's something that's viable, you saw um
yeah,
you saw the trailer for it, like it's announced, it's official, like this is supposed to be coming out, and then you're waiting, and then it gets canceled. It just it's such a I feel like it's such a different thing. Like there's more emotion to it because you're like, oh, you hype up what that game could have been in your head,
and I
and
do want to
then
address the rumor too later. But
and the
go ahead,
same thing with
finish.
Perfect Dark. And it's the
Yeah,
same thing with Perfect Dark. Like we saw it. We were like, okay, here's the vision. We're rocking with that vision. You hype up was like, okay, it could be like this, it could do this, they could do that. Look at how this looks, etc. Blah blah blah. And then it's like, well, uh, yeah, it didn't quite get there. But you don't have that same thing for something where it's like, oh, they were supposed to make a game like Perfect again, another unfortunately canceled title like Project Blackbird
hmm
from ZOS. Um, we just knew the name and like a quick description, and the only reason why we got the description is because like somebody leaked some stuff after it got canceled, but that
yeah.
doesn't have the same. And I might have liked that game better than not Sea of Thieves. I might have liked that game better than Everwild or Perfect Dark, but I don't have as much of an emotional attachment to that cancellation because all it is a name and a description to me versus me actually being able to see the artwork, see the style, see what the game is supposed to be like.
And yeah, I do want to say with Perfect Dark, no, that wasn't a fake trailer. No, that wasn't fake gameplay. They have things in the industry called a vertical slice. What is a vertical slice? It's exactly what it sounds like. Think of it like a cake. You're taking a piece of cake and it has all these different layers of how the game is supposed to be played, or your intention, or what you want it to look like, what you want it to do. And basically that's a vertical slice, and that's what was shown. Most of the time you see these trailers, they're from vertical slices because it has all the features in it. It has all the stuff that you want it to look like, things like that. And it's basically a slice of this pie or cake. And you're seeing all the different layers and what it has to offer. So that's what that's called, is a vertical slice. So no, it wasn't a fake trailer. That's just people being stupid.
Oh yeah,
For the most part.
Yeah, definitely wasn't fake.
Yeah.
But
yeah, do you guys want to talk about some Halo?
that's what probably makes that sting a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
When you found out it wasn't and it was real, you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's get on some Halo.
Let's get some Halo news. It's been a while since we've actually. Oh, nice! You already clicked over it. It's been a while since we've talked about Halo. It's kind of just fell to the wayside a little bit. It's one of my favorite series or IPs,
Same.
or and to kind of see where it's gone, I'm surprised it's not lasted this long. That's horrible to say. I'm more so surprised that they've kind of stuck with it for so long, and the meaningful updates that they've made that have made it such a great game. Because the multiplayer did struggle at launch, just like Sea of Thieves a little bit. It was a little bit of a struggle at first, but they brought it back around. They got back on track.
It was like a month after, because that when it initially in December when it dropped, it was nothing but fanfare. The problem came with like the like season 1 and beyond stuff with just like
So for the single player was great. It was the multiplayer that suffered because of how they did the point accumulation. It wasn't like you were getting it for just doing things in the game. Like, usually you would get it like accumulate points as you like kill somebody or as you complete an objective. That you weren't getting that. You actually had to complete these like not checkpoints, but you had to like do these objectives.
Oh, no, I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people complained about that. I had no issue with getting points because you did the challenges. I understand that people wanted it to be like it was in the older games, where it was like, oh, you get points. You get points. You get level up for everything. But like, and this is just my opinion. This isn't everybody's, but it was arbitrary because like you're just leveling up. It's just a line that goes zoop. And that's what people were upset about. I wasn't upset about that, but continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It was more so though, like the risk versus reward, because I think that's something Sea of Thieves a little suffered from. Is you had this very high risk, but the reward you kind of got from it wasn't matching that risk level at the start. So, you're out there, you just raided you just did a fort, or you got all this gold, and now you can't even have a chance to turn it in because you're getting like, third partied by, a pirate, by another player. The risk versus reward there. And then even when you did turn it in, there wasn't a lot there for you to get back in return. It was very bare bones. And I think it was also the content gap. But because they had to go back to the drawing board, I think that's where they had that, where they were like, listen, we got a level set. We got to go back to the drawing board. We got to refigure out how we're going to do this point accumulation. We got to figure out how to make this game fun and, entertaining and interactive and make the juice worth the squeeze in a sense. And I think that's where they had to put all that stuff on the back burner that they originally had, because they had to level set the community again. I think that's what I kind of meant from that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine success that Halo Infinite's multiplayer would have if all the consistency of the content drops and everything that they've had since what was it, season 3, season 4 is when they started doing the content drops, and then 5 is when they turned it into operations. Like, because I played it, and I'm not the biggest multiplayer player, but I played it very much with Rake for that first like year and a half when like half of the first 18 months was season one, and like it it was I could see where people were getting upset that especially with the content where it's like, yo, okay, how many times we going to play the same map? How many times we going to play the same mode? How many times we going to use these same starter weapons after almost a year? But like once they actually got the hit the ground running with all the content additions and everything, I think if they would have had that from the beginning, this game would be like lauded as as the best because they've done an excellent job of, again, like we were talking about with Sea of Thieves, keeping up on listening to the feedback, giving the players, for the most part, not everybody's going to be happy, but giving the players what they want, and then like pushing content and making sure that we have all that stuff. It took a while to get there. Took way longer than it should have to get there. But like we're at the point now where it's like, yo, every time I turn around, and it's not shouted from the rooftops. It's not like Sea of Thieves where it's always at every single showcase. But every time I turn around, it's like, well, these new maps are being added, and this mode is added. This new maps are being added. This is being added. This is being added. That's being added. New weapons are being put into the game like as we speak. What 4 years later, almost 5 years later after release, like
Yeah.
I'm excited to. I actually just went back and played a couple rounds of Firefight because I do that every once in a while. Just jump into some Firefight, and I still love it. So I'm actually looking forward to this next like update and for the fall update because it looks like we got some good stuff in there.
Paladin, what about you, bud? I know we talked in the green room a little bit. You said you played through the Halos and everything like that. Was Infinite kind of on your multiplayer rotation list, or do you even still play things like that?
Yeah, I can't say I still play Infinite. I
Okay.
loved it at the time it came out. Like, I thought it was a great game. I know there's a lot of controversy around like how how complete it might have been or whatnot, but I I can't say I still play it. Maybe this is a good excuse to get back into it. But I think mainly for me, I'm just looking forward to whatever comes next for Halo. I'm not a huge live service guy. The only one
Okay.
I've ever put reasonable time into is probably Apex Legends. But other than that,
And
I,
Sea of
I,
Thieves.
I and see, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but sorry, I mean, I guess I mean like, yeah, like I didn't do Call of Duty Warzone or anything like that, but yeah,
The sweat fests, pretty much. Like
yeah,
the sweat fest grind, multiplayer, competitive. I guess you could say the more competitive nature kind of games,
yeah.
like
My
the first
introvert
persons.
nature really comes out even online.
No, that's 100%. It's not for everybody. Like I said, sometimes you can just go in. Like a lot of us, we just go in to have fun. Like so, like Gold, Q, myself, Rake, Bugs. Our usual group that we play with. We just go in to have fun, so it's not as much of a sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, man. No.
I only really play when I'm jumping on with you guys. Like I don't outside of Halo, just because I've always loved the gunplay for Halo, and I just enjoy. It's one of my favorite. It's not just one of my favorite video game franchises, but one of my favorite like franchises of all. Period. It's
Mhm.
probably the only one that I jump into just like on myself by myself occasionally, but that's because they have PVE content that I can play. But like Call of Duty, Overwatch, the all the multiplayer games that I have on my hard drive that I barely open up is because I really only jump on when I'm jumping on with friends and playing with them. Not just a. I'm also not a sweatfest kind of guy.
Gold, what about you? Or you want to go through some of this stuff here about the fall update that's coming that we've been talking about, just to kind of keep
So
the listener in on what we know.
so we got the fall update coming. I actually went back and played a few big team battle matches with Rake. I've been gone a long time because I did not realize they added that Banish shotgun in there. I didn't realize they added the fuel rod cannon. And we did about 3 matches of big team battle last night, and we're back, man, because that felt good. They fixed the net code, It is absolutely solid. And then with the update we got, looks like we got a new snow map. We got a new map here that looks sort of Aztec. We got the
Mhm.
Covenant Carbine coming back, and here's the big one, fellas. We're finally getting the goddamn Falcon.
Yeah.
It's the air version of the Warthog, and this is the perfect game for it to be in. And let me see, new asymmetrical ranked. I don't know if those maps are big team battle or arena.
I
Either
just feel like
way,
that thing's gonna be like just. I'm excited to have the Falcon back in the game, but I just feel like it's gonna be targeted so much by like
Yeah.
some dude with like sniper skewer skills that's just going to like take out a whole team of people trying to get somewhere as they're putting around in the Falcon.
Yeah, yeah, you probably won't even be able to launch, or I mean, everyone's gonna want to try and get into it and sabotage you trying to get into it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see though how it plays. I may jump in with you guys. I know we got so much Battlefield 6, which we'll talk a little bit later, is coming out and stuff like that. But I'm excited for this new season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really
On the
excited.
Halo front, I think I just saw that Fortnite and Halo are having a collab. Is that right? So it
Yeah,
might be
I
Hmm.
good
gotta
for Infinite.
I gotta search like for the thing because I haven't seen a trailer or anything for it, but I've just seen like some still shots of there being Spartans and something bug related. I just saw like a quick little thing about it, but that's cool. I don't
Yeah.
play Fortnite. I don't care.
Same. Just thought it would be like good for the brand, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's good for the brand. Put it out there, but like,
we also do have that Halo indie game that Halo Studios actually is allowing to go through called Spartan Survivor.
That's
oh
right.
I'm
yeah,
looking forward to that one
I do want to
because
play that because
Vampire
I'm a
Survivor and Bro Potato were pretty fun, but I didn't care. But if it's Halo related and I love the
now I
franchise,
care.
I'm down, man.
Oh, I love Vampire Survivor. I actually got to go back into it so I can get the like they added some every time they add new achievements. I go back and do all the achievements again because
Nice.
like I'm not even an achievement hunter, but like I got them all because I played the game so much just because I enjoyed playing the game. And now I'm like, well, I did them all. Stop adding more, so I got to do them all again. So I got to go back on Vampire Survivor. But I will be when that finally releases, like as a game, I will be picking up. So I don't think they can't sell it. I think it's like they have to. It has to be like a free game or whatever. I don't know, but I'm gonna play that game. This is Spartan
Nice.
Survivor.
Speaking of Sweatfest, we kind of mentioned it. Battlefield 6 had a major reveal. And it looks like we are back for Battlefield. I don't know about you guys. I'm a huge Battlefield fan. I worked on Battlefield 4. That's one of the titles I worked on while my time was at EA. We partnered up with Dice and stuff like that. So yeah, that was one of the titles I worked on. So it's near and dear to my heart, and I got to say, man, it looks amazing. It looks like we're back. There's a lot of great of that immersion look to it again. Um, like the grabbing the guy now by the back and dragging him. Bringing that back in. They had the really cool moment where you could hang off the side of the tank. Just little things like that really separate that
Finals level
difference.
destruction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Dude,
Destruction's
that
back
sold
again.
me, man. I'm so pumped for Battlefield 6.
Yeah, I did just get a code too. I reached out on Twitter. I was like, "Hey, anybody have an extra code?" We actually had a really, really awesome user by the name of Illa, Ilia. It's Illa Akhaven. That's their handle. I posted it on my Twitter, so please go check them out. Big thank you. Hopefully, I did not butcher your name,
Probably
but
did.
probably did. But yeah, it's really, really awesome. Thank you so much. But I did get a beta code, so I will be playing on the 7th and
Nice.
8th early. But yeah, what about you guys? What did you guys think about the trailer? I mean, come on, they brought back Limp Bizkit break stuff. Like, how classic. Like, it's such a perfect song as well. What did you guys think of the
It
trailer?
it was very the song was actually very perfect for that. The trailer was fire. I really enjoyed watching that trailer. My thing is, and this has always been my thing with Battlefield. This is my problem with. I never even touched 2042. Um, is there going to be campaign? And I ask that because over the years, again, I'm not big on like multiplayer only stuff, and I've always played the campaigns. I played both Bad Companies. I played 3, 4, 1, 5. Um, one of the older like World War II ones too, I think. But I played all the campaigns versus like being deep into the multiplayer because the thing that draws people to the multiplayer, it being this big open battle between large numbers of people, never worked in my favor because I would always just like go into the match and then run to go find somewhere to go and then get sniped and then start all the way back at the beginning again and then maybe get like a little bit further the next time and kill 2 people and then get sniped again and then maybe get up a little bit before and then get like hit with some missiles or something. I never found that fun.
I can tell you, and you're gonna be happy, there is single player. They had 2 different trailers. The first trailer that they showed earlier in July, like midweek, it was the single player, and then
Oh, so okay, so that was for the campaign. I wasn't sure.
the first
Thank
one,
you.
yeah, was for the campaign, and then this one was the multiplayer reveal.
All right.
So that's the
It
big
looks
one where
it
they
looks
showed all that
great.
stuff.
So like if when it when it comes to EA playthrough Game Pass, if you guys want to play it, I'll jump on and play the multiplayer with you. Or maybe no, if the like the 10-hour trial thing, I'll use the
Yeah.
10-hour trial thing to play some multiplayer with you guys.
Which, by the way, maybe a little fanboyish, but Xbox is the only place you can play Call of Duty and Battlefield 6 on Game Pass because you get the EA 10-hour trial and you get Call of Duty every year. Just saying. But yeah, what did you think, Goldshell? What did you think of the trailer? Are you excited for it? You going to pre-order? Kind of just run us down your thought process here on what you saw with Battlefield
Pre-order,
6.
no, but I'm definitely going to get that trial and see how it goes because what I saw in that trailer was basically Battlefield meets the finals, and Rake and Wolfie and all of us had a blast in the finals with just making floors cave in and just stuff like that. And to see that part where he drops a proximity mine and it blows up and he comes down and pops 2 guys in the head, that was the coolest thing I saw. So Battlefield's back. So, but I'm not going to pre-order it because I want to see how it actually plays out. But I think Vince Zampello's running the project now, so
he is.
his track record is glorious. So
Yes.
it
I was gonna say, for those
it
not
looked
familiar,
like Vince Zampella, and I don't Paladin. Vince Zampella, I believe, was the guy who did Apex Legends. So
Yes.
you might be familiar with his stuff.
Even before then, Call of Duty at Infinity Ward. He was one of the main people there. Yeah, he turned Respawn into the beast that it is. It spawned, Respawn from Infinity Ward. That's what it was. From back in the day when they were doing Call of Duty. I guess they had the falling out. There was the whole thing, and they went off and said, "Well, screw you. We're gonna make this studio," and it was Respawn, and they've been killing it ever since. Yeah, so he's back. He's riding the ship of where DICE kind of, I think, fell off a little bit. They had the whole Battlefront 2 fiasco, which was insane back in the day. The game recovered. The Battlefront 2 is still really, really great, has its issues. And then they had Apex Legend, and yeah, they're making all these really, really cool stuff now, and they're back on their feet. And yes, he took DICE under his wing, which is going to make me very excited. Paladin, what about you? What did you think of the trailer? Did you watch it? Are you going to pre-order? Maybe get into some of the beta. I know you said you're not a sweat like some of us. But what do you think? You might give it a little try, see how the open weekend feels.
Yeah, actually, I'm pumped for Battlefield 6. Some of the most fun I had with shooters were like Battlefield 3, 4 online. Like, did have plenty of fun in the lobbies there, and I think with the campaign coming back, like that's also kind of what I'm there for. If there's a great campaign, then perfect. And I think they've kind of hopefully returned to roots in some sense. Like I think that COD and Battlefield, whatever, lost their way a bit for one point when it went ultra futuristic-y. Like, I think you lose some of that grit and in that modern warfare sense, which I think is what people want. And maybe like obviously World War I, World War II, but Um, when it's based in some sort of realism, right? Like people want that kind of sim, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm pumped for it.
No, exactly. I mean, that was what always separated Call of Duty and Battlefield. You had Call of Duty, which was the quick action, that fast pace, quick shooting, competitive style, and then you had Battlefield, which was more strategic. It was more immersion. It was more grounded. I guess you could say compared to Call of Duty, which was just all over the place. And I think if anything, I think they're coming in at the right time, especially with so much criticism coming from Call of Duty. Like I said, they have Stan Marsh, they got Beavis and Butthead, they got Nicki Minaj, they got these crazy DLCs, and it's like that's not what I mean. They got like 20,000 different weed themed, skins. They're just raking them out like, or no pun intended, rake. That's one of our other buddies, Corey. They're just pumping them out. Like they're nothing. And it's like people are like, no, what about this? Like there's cool things that you could do. So I think if anything, this
People
is
are
the
buying
perfect
those
time.
things, so like that's the
They
thing.
are.
Like they're gonna keep doing it if people keep buying it. Just like Halo cat ears. Just like,
Okay.
just like
All
all the
right.
skins and
I
stuff
bought
that
those.
Fortnite gets. See, exactly. So like people are gonna be like, oh well, this doesn't belong in a Call of Duty game, and this ruins the immersion, this experience. And maybe they should have the option to be able to like turn off the skin so that you see everybody as de facto military man from your point of view.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do it if it wasn't bringing them in buku amounts of money, and it does.
Yeah.
To
No, that's
Like
fair.
to add
I
to
was
that
very,
though,
I was very tempted to buy the when they came out with the Blunt Man and Chronic skin. I was very tempted to be like, yo, I'll spend $30 on these fucking skins, but I didn't because I have willpower.
What were you gonna
to
say,
be
Paladin?
fair, I read an article about not necessarily throwing shade, but the devs of Battlefield said something. I'm just looking it up again here. They said, "quote I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj." So
Yeah.
I think that they know what they want to be, hopefully, and
Yeah.
can make a
Yeah.
shit ton of money without that.
Oh, 100%. It's always been, like I said, it's always been the staple. And it sucks that the last
Until they
Battlefield
do.
kind of start the way it did. Because it wasn't Battlefield. They did try and go, I mean, and I'm all for devs thinking outside the box, kind of not just rehashing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Kind of changing it up, taking that risk. But I think they kind of took too much liberty and they forgot what their who they were, and what they did and stuff like that. And I think they lost that vision, which is why a lot of people acted the way that they did. I think that's going to do it for us today. I mean, it's been an awesome show. I think we had some great talks. Also having the insider knowledge. Big thanks to Paladin
Yeah.
Topaz
Thanks, buddy.
himself.
Thank you for coming out, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for pulling me out of retirement. Lots of fun.
And
All right.
I extend the offer here. You are always welcome to come play Halo and Battlefield with us here at Gumbo. Invitation's
Perfect.
always here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll update the clan tag.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
there
yeah,
you
how about if you have any, go ahead, spit your bars. Tell us about you. Tell us where they can find you on social media, where they can find your YouTube if you're still creating, or anything else that you want to promote. This is your time. We appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time out of your day. The least we can do is hype up your channel and stuff that you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty boring here. I went on a bit of a digital detox, and I don't really have any social media or anything. I'm trying to hype up at this point. If people do want to see at least the tour of Rare, and anybody is interested in that, I will give these guys a link. My YouTube channel is called Sebastian, like Sebastian, but blast in the middle.
Nice.
And you can find those retro videos and some tours of Rare and talking to that, and maybe I'll give these guys a link or whatever. But yeah, just happy to be here. Not looking to plug anything personally, but yeah, glad to be on.
Well, if there ever
Yeah.
is, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. We'll have you on again. You could talk all things And yeah, we'll get your name out there. Like I said, we appreciate you coming on, and the knowledge that you have of Rare and Sea of Thieves is very, very valuable, and we appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Gold, what are you going to be playing this weekend to wrap up, and then we'll go to Q, and then we'll finish up.
Here's how my schedule works now. My when I get off work, my wife goes to work. So I see her 15 minutes a day, and then the weekends are usually just her and I, and then I'll hop on during the weekdays. But what I'm going to be doing this weekend is watching Mythic Quest. It's a video game show on Apple TV, and Ubisoft does the visuals for it. It's hilarious. It's like Community meets Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
Okay.
we're watching that. So kind of video game related. But I'll be playing Halo. I'll be going back into Halo, and I'm definitely going to try to chip away at Shadow Labyrinth. Awa.
Nice. Q, what about you? What are you going to be finishing up or starting?
So actually, so everything that I'm doing is going to be finishing up something. I'm going to be getting back into playing some more State of Decay 2, so I can get through a lethal playthrough. That the one thing that I haven't done yet in the game. Like I said, I downloaded Anthem because I want to play through the campaign again, maybe co-op with some people. If anybody's interested, let me know. I'm definitely gonna be jumping back into some Halo. Like I jump into Halo here and there anyway, just like playing firefighter, doing a couple multiplayer matches. But it'd be cool for a group of us to jump on it and just jump into it, especially after I think the next update is the 5th, but that's not the fall update that has new weapons and stuff. But if anybody wants to jump in for the next operation update, which is Tuesday, I'm down to jump in with that. And I've been putting it on the burner because as much as I enjoy the game world and the mythos of it and everything, I've been trying to get through Pillars of Eternity 2, and every time I jump back into it, I get a little bit frustrated because I'm not a CRPG guy at all. So I'm like I played for maybe like an hour the other day and then died to some stupid skeletons, and I was like, fuck this game. So I want to get through that before the end of the summer because I want to get through Avowed before I start the Outer Worlds 2, and I don't want to play Avowed until I finish Pillars of Eternity 2. So
Just to give you payback for the shit you've said to me on the podcast, skill issue.
you
Yeah,
know
good.
what? That's true. It's completely fair. It is all a skill issue.
Nice.
But yeah, that's me.
I'll be doing some Dead by Daylight. I'll be finishing or playing with some groups of there. I'll be doing the new Battlefield 6 beta starting on the 7th, I believe, 7th and 8th. And then more Wildgate. I need to start playing more. I got to get a good crew going. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what I'll have on my plate. But
Hit
yeah,
me up with Wildgate, man.
Okay, yeah, it's $30.
You can get
it's not
how
a full
much?
$30.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't
Alright.
go free to play, but they're a small developer, so I think they're not. I don't know if they are willing to take that risk, with microtransactions and stuff like that. So I think they're looking to get the premium game early on to buy the buy-in, and then. But we'll see how it goes. So far, like I said, I've loved it. It's gotten decent reviews, some pretty good reviews actually. And then, I'll hit you up about it if you get it. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that does it for us today, folks.
Paladin, what about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Anything?
Yeah, nothing crazy. Some buddies and I are playing a game called Bitcraft, which is like I don't want to say not MMO, but like I guess it's an MMO. It's more of a tech demo for the company's new database software that they've come up with. But it's interesting. I would recommend it to people. And again, playing a game called Midnight Walk, which I love. And still finishing up Expedition 33. Not quite done with it, but fucking awesome game there for sure. So,
Beautiful game. That's I hope that gets game
I
of
need
the
to
year.
go back to it.
if it doesn't get game of the year, I'll be pissed.
Yeah.
I need to
No,
finish before I go to France.
We know what game
Oh,
of the year
yeah.
is going to be, guys. Come on, we already know what it was going to be like 6 months before the game even was announced the date. It's going to be Death Stranding 2.
I don't
No.
know.
It's
Dude,
going to
this I hope
Jeff
Expedition
Keighley-
33 gets it.
be
It
Jeff
deserves it.
Keighley is going to drag Kojima up on that stage and be
Like he does
"Here,
every year.
take it. This is yours. You earned it."
You think we'll see him at Gamescom next year, Cork?
Who, Kojima?
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. We still haven't heard about what is it? I was gonna say overdose, but it's
Science.
not overdose. It's
I'll have to brush up on my Japanese if I can. Meet him.
OD Science.
yeah, OD. We haven't heard about OD yet. That could be
Yeah.
a next year Gamescom. Who knows? I was supposed to go and see his whole Death Stranding premiere. I got invited in LA, but I was wiped by the end of Sunday night. I was just done with all the traveling. So I know I could have hung out with him and met him and stuff, but I was just exhausted. So I skipped it. Yeah. That
That Cork said Kojima's not important.
my sleep is more important. That's why I'm like blanking right now because I work nights. So usually right now I'm like tucking into bed. But yeah, speaking of which, I think Gold Cell has to go. I need to get some sleep. Thanks
I'm
everyone
gonna
for
eat
watching.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eat,
Dinner
love,
for me. What's up?
eat, love, game. Thanks for
Yep.
watching.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy. As always, thanks again, Paladin.
Later.
Cheers.
Order up.
Bon appétit.